So hi guys, welcome to Film Companion South.
Hi.
So Milind, I want to start with you. Now of course, if you look at the West and all that, almost every major blockbuster's based on a comic book, right? And it's kind of the start of that with Village in Tamil especially. So when you start with the comic, of course, there's a lot of advantages to that. But in terms of the visuals, because you have the graphic novel, it's almost like a storyboard, right? What is your instinct to kind of rely on those images because that has its own effect, or try to do something completely different?
Well, first of all, this is the first. Again,
yeah, actually the first. Yeah,
it's the first. The first thing from a comic book or a graphic novel and all that. And so a lot of the imagery was like a storyboard reference and all of that. A lot of it is when you are kind of ideating with your team and you come up with certain concepts for the mutants and things like that, it takes its own creative shape and form, right? And it's not something that's got a solid like a legacy build up and all of that stuff. So we have that bit of freedom where you kind of go full steam with your creative team and come up with some concepts that can probably even take it further from what you saw and the thing like that. So it is a mix of both actually. So you little bit of it, certain elements of it, very graphic elements of certain sequences I wanted to retain, in just the pure sense of how it plays out in terms of the violence, which it's part of the story, which is not like overindulgent and all of that. But those imagery, that imagery stayed in my mind a lot, and we wanted to recreate it as much as possible. But a lot of liberty was taken with just the way the whole team came up with the concepts for the mutants, and so it was mixable. So
did you first read the novel to make into a series, or was it the other way around? You just read it as a fan and then you thought, okay, this is a great show?
I didn't read it as a fan. I was sent the series by Ashwin, who was the publisher of the series and all that, and so I read it, and it for me instantly had a very human story at the core of it, and we've changed it a lot. It's only been inspired from that, and it's a takeoff from that and all that, and then we've gone in a lot of different spaces and from that this thing, but the core human story, right, was something that drew me to it, which said that this will definitely be something that will connect to the audience, because apart from all of the the mutants in this world that we are creating and all that, this core human story of Gautam, that's the character played by Arya, losing his family and going with a group of misfits like elderly villagers to go and find them again in one night, is a very fantastic one line, to kind of have a story, so it instantly will pique your curiosity, and so that's why it kind of like immediately struck a chord, and I said this can be a live action adaptation that will work, and I just felt that.
So Arya sir, I'm a huge fan of your choices. Actually, if not for you, there would have been so many firsts in Tamil cinema that would have never happened. So many movies like like a zombie movie, then a movie like Teddy, now Village. So when somebody comes to you with a concept, and when you know for a fact that okay, this is the first time anybody's trying it in Tamil, does that make it a little more exciting for you to choose that?
Yeah, it does excite me because. See, you want to do something different. Sometimes you want to do something different as a character. Sometimes you want to be part of something very different. So in this case, it's something like part of something very different. And when he told me the idea, I thought it was very new to the Indian platform. Like nobody have ever tried this, and especially now, people are liking a lot of gore and gore.
Do you like it?
I personally don't like it.
You don't like violence?
But I'm so amazed why people like it so much. It's very, I don't know, it sometimes disturbs me. Is it going in a bad way, or people are so negative, or people are so angry? I don't know.
So what happens when you watch these kind of like super hardcore? Just ignore.
I just ignore. I just can't watch such things like that. In fact, I have never seen a horror film. So
what?
Yeah. So
you have acted, no?
Yeah, I have acted. I have not seen that film. But generally saying, I'm not like a horror guy. So I thought when he told me the whole idea was very, very new, and so what I told him was, if we could achieve what the visual presentation, whatever you showed me, the sketches and how you want the character to be, how it's going to be. So I thought it will definitely excite the audience. So I think so they had big plans like Milind and our producer Radha sir. So I thought okay, let's be a part of it and let's see what happens. So that was the basic.
But sir, what about, I think you're one of the...
Sorry to interrupt, but what you said is so right. A lot of things wouldn't have happened if he hadn't kind of backed, and that's what is the same case with Village as well. So it needed that backing of, to be able to mount it and to take it to a larger audience and all of that, and to justify the kind of scale with which you're mounting a show like this. And so I'm so happy that he was he bought into the vision of what we were trying to do.
And especially when you see Arya sir's next movies, you feel like he's also like a 90s kid like us. The kind of he loves the same Hollywood movies that we loved, the same kind of genres that we've always wanted to see in English or Tamil, and he's the first one to do it. But sir, tell me this: did you grow up watching a lot of comic books?
No.
What were you reading?
Only the Tinkle level. That's the maximum comic I have read, because I used to get only access to that book. So,
Archie's?
No.
Not even Archie's?
High class book. Archie's
so 40 rupees, sir, come on.
Not 40. Adella period.
English.
நாங்க வந்து சந்தா மாமா Tinkle அந்த ரேஞ்ச் தான். Tinkle. So அந்த ரேஞ்ச் தான். So I used to enjoy that. My favorite used to be the Supandi.
Okay.
So those kind of stuff only. But I'm not too much into reading also. I'm very bad at. I can just sleep in 2 pages.
So do you read for that?
No, yeah. Sometimes, but very bad reader. So I'm more of a visual guy. So whenever somebody says something, I just see it in my head. I just visualize the way he's saying it, or what I see in it. So for me, it works better that way. So when he told me this, I thought it will be awesome if he could achieve like 60 to 70% of what he's saying. See, always you have so much of ideas, but when you try to generate it onto the screen, it doesn't really get transformed. But certain things, even if we get it like 60-70%, it's enough. So this is those kind. So
how much percent did he get right?
I think he did get it right, but he's never happy with what he got. But he still got it right.
Was it a big decision for you, because this is an OTT debut, right? Of course, I think Teddy released straight on OTT, but it was not meant for that. When you're deciding to do a series for OTT, was it a complicated decision, or did you just look at it like a regular?
No, it's just the same.
Same, no difference.
Same expression you're going to give it, whether it's a series or it's a movie. It's just that idea of, people are not willing to get into that space. They thought it was like very degrading. I'm talking about like 3-4 years back.
3-4 years back.
நீ வந்து சீரிஸ் பண்றியா, சீரியல் பண்ற மாதிரி they had this thing, but they didn't understand the magnitude of it. So they thought it is. So I felt it had a wider, because Sarpata Parambarai was released on Amazon Prime. As a director originally.
Actually, you're already an OTT superstar.
So I knew the reach it could have as a platform. So I definitely knew this kind of series, if it's made in Amazon, the kind of reach it will have. I could really visualize it. So we have done our best, and 24th it's releasing. Let's see.
We're always excited, sir, when you do something. So Arjun, this is a question to the 3 actors. This is of course, you guys are all done movies before this, but when you talk about a series, of course, even if it might take the same amount of days, 60 days, 70 days to finish a series, do you get that extra time to really work on your character compared to a movie where, they're shooting one scene today, the next scene might be 2-3 weeks later? Compared to that long period, does it help you really build on your character by yourself?
See, the long format does lead itself to a lot of discovery when it comes to character. Like, there's so much you can do, there's so much you can explore. Of course, but I don't see a vast difference between how a film is dealt with and a series is dealt with.
In the shooting stage?
In the shooting stage, because we're all chasing time and we're all like trying to get as many shots as we can within that limited budget, because 1 hour extra ponalo producer ke extra, that's how we're approaching it, right, when we go to shoot. So in terms of maybe character development, character exploration, yes, the long format has a lot more because you have a constraint of 2 hours within which you can tell stories, and you can only have the essential ones. In series, as opposed to films, you can really go into the mind of the character. Like I feel like at least we tried to shoot. There was this one sequence which was not in the script. It's a sequence of me sitting and playing a piano. Now, as you know, the director said that's a very cliche shot, Arjun. I don't want to do it. And then he saw me play it and he took a shot. Now, I don't know if it's in the series or not, but it did allow us to explore.
Correct.
That's what the long format really does. And I feel as actors, for us, the long format la work பண்ணும்போது உங்களுக்கு வந்து நீங்க இன்னும் நிறைய விஷயம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம் அந்த கேரக்டர் பத்தி. அதை எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணி அதை இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு நீங்க கொண்டு போகலாம். And your perception, how you perceive a character is vastly different. That's the major difference I see. Otherwise, it's all the same, bro.
Sir, உங்களுக்கு sir, or like when you talk about a movie, like he might get a good scene, but it might be a 5-minute, 10-minute scene in a larger movie. But in a show like this, you can actually afford to have an entire episode based on Sir and Muthu Sir and all that. அந்த மாதிரி இந்த ஷோல இருக்கா சார்? கொஞ்சம் பெருசான ஒரு லைக் சப் பிளாட் இல்லனா பேக் ஸ்டோரி உங்களோட கேரக்டர் கிடைச்சிருக்கா?
பெரிய பேராகிராஃப் கொஞ்சம் லாங்கான ஒரு இதெல்லாம் இருக்கு. ஃப்ளாஷ்பேக்ங்கிறது இல்லை, பட்
not for him.
ஓகே முத்து சார் அண்ட்
டைலாக்ஸில் பெரிய டைலாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது. ஆமாம், அது இருக்குது.
And sir, what about makeup, sir? I mean, I have not seen the trailer yet. From the looks of it, it's like a lot of hardcore makeup, right? So, what about that, sir? உங்களுக்கு இருந்ததா சார் அந்த மாதிரி பெரிய மேக்கப் எல்லாம் பண்ற மாதிரி அந்த மாதிரி?
Makeup is morely for the mutants. நிறைய process.
So none of you guys are
No,
we're the good guys.
Neutral.
We're the lucky ones.
நான் வந்து கொஞ்சம் மேக்கப்புக்காக ப்ராஸ்தட்டிக் மேக்கப்புக்காக நான் பாம்பே போயிட்டு வந்தேன்.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பண்றீங்களா சார் அந்த மாதிரி ப்ராஸ்தட்டிக் மேக்கப்?
ஆமாம்.
எப்படி இருந்தது சார்? அது ரொம்ப இதா இருக்குமா சார்? 6 hours 7 hours
அந்த எனக்கு போயிட்டு வந்தோம்ல.
ஆமாமா, அது எதுக்காக போனீங்கன்னு we can't reveal, which but we did one full body cast sir actually. அவர் பாம்பே போயிட்டு ஃபுல்லாக அந்த ப்ளூ இதில் போட்டு வந்து அதை வந்து காஸ்ட்டாக எடுத்துட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து பட் இட் வாஸ் ஸோ ரியலிஸ்டிக் அது அன்பிலீவபிளி டன். அண்ட் அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து டிஃப்ரென்ஸே தெரில. அது ஆக்சுவலாக வந்து நீங்கள் அது ஜார்ஜ் சார் மாதிரியே இருந்ததுல அந்த மாதிரி. ஸோ இட் வாஸ் வெரி வெரி ரியலிஸ்டிக்லி டன், வெரி வெரி வெல் டன். அண்ட் ஐ திங்க் அவர் வந்து கோஆப்ரேட் பண்ணிட்டு ஐ திங்க் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் நீங்கள் பண்ணுறீங்களா சார் அந்த மாதிரி?
ஆமாம், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம்.
So it is very taxing for a lot of the actors who had to do that actually.
இல்லை, இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான ஒரு ஒர்க்கு.
ஓகே. ஆனால் சார் 3-4 hours எடுக்கும்ல அது பண்ணுறதுக்கு?
ஆமாம்.
அது ஓகே.
ஆமாம்.
So cute.
Yeah. So you're going to say something?
I said I was going to talk about that thing that prosthetic. You know, I saw a life-size prosthetic of him, and I was like alarmed at how real it looked. Like if you saw it up close, you wouldn't believe it's like a dummy or it's a prosthetic thing, right? And that's the scope that the writing or the setup has allowed us to really like sort of discover and push the boundaries.
Of course, in movies, everything works kind of backwards. No, release day backwards, and there's so much pressure on you guys to deliver it on a particular day. When you're working for a series and when you're working with Amazon and all that, do you guys get the time to really, okay, let's not give it a day as such, let's slowly work on it, let the CG be perfect, let the special effects be perfect, and only then deliver the final thing? Or do you guys have the same kind of pressures in series also?
No. See, any creative process has a end date. You know, it's like you have to let go of it at some point of time. But the thing is, Amazon Prime is structured in such a way that they really give a lot of time for the creators to plan well. So we were very as a team, you know, Amazon Prime, Radha sir, our producer, and me, and you know, and Arya sir knew what we were in for. You know, we took a lot of time to get the CG right. Our last day of shoot was November 12th of last year.
Wow.
And now
more than a year,
is when it's released. So, and in between they all came, they dubbed it, and everybody knows what is coming, but it's while they're dubbing also, but it's still not there yet because the dubbing version didn't have the complete CG in it and all of that. So it was a challenge for everybody to give that expression and emotion, to react to something that's not there or not finished yet, and all of those things, you know. But there are definitely at some point some cutoffs, like okay, now beyond this we have to put the show out kind of thing. But that period was we were given enough time to do the right kind of thing because they understand the process so much. They have a very strong post team. Amazon has a very strong post team, and they understand the process and so that's we had good time to kind of like be able to do the execute the VFX and all of that. Yeah.
So what is your reaction, sir? After you must have heard the pitch, you must have seen the images. When you're finally watching it in the dub, or when you're going to that last stage of the post-production is going on, when you're finally seeing all this, because 70-80% of the shoot is just like green screen, right? Or whatever. I mean, I don't know how it works right now, but random things. When you're finally seeing it, do you feel like, oh, not bad, and I managed to pull it off just based on the director's instructions? How is that feeling?
See, like I said, we could not really see the output when we were shooting it or dubbing. I think now, when you see the entire output, I think it's good. I mean, definitely, I think the audience will like it and they'll get scared or they'll go. Everything is working. So I think. So let's see on 24th when it releases, and see, we have a judgment. We like it because we are so attached to it. We like being a part of it. We want it to work. So, but the real test comes when the audience sees it. So, but yeah, technically it's good. Everything is looking nice. Yeah. So hopefully the audience also will like it.
Okay, but as actors, when you're working so much with, like a background and, CG and all that, what is that one thing you miss? Like, is it the eye line? Is it the lack of, like,
No, I wouldn't say we miss something, but we do feel like kids again. I'll tell you why. Yeah. Because, like, a small example, okay? We're all, like, let's say on the beach, and the helicopter is supposed to take off. Now, you can easily shoot it with a real helicopter. Now, when you're doing it as a CG, there's fans set up, there's so many practical effects added on just for you to feel it. So it sort of stretches our imagination, and all we have is the word of the director to follow. That's like our only guideline. Like, let it be the look or all of those things. It basically makes us that kid again wherein you're exercising your imagination. And I think that is one of the favorite things for me as an actor to work with VFX. Like, let's say, take a Gollum from a Lord of the Rings, right? Imagine how much is there to imagine in that, and how Andy Serkis sort of discovered that. So like that, I feel like as actors, when we work with VFX, it's like child's play. ஒரு பொம்மை, அதாவது இல்லாத ஒரு பிளேனை வச்சு நீ விளையாடிட்டு இருக்க. அந்த மாதிரி தான் an actor's life is rather working with VFX. That's what I feel.
But to be honest, there's also a lot of practical effects that we have done with the prosthetics. So it's not like there was 100% like nothing that they could see. There were characters who, some of them are fully CG created. Some of them were like actors in prosthetics, stunt performers in prosthetics, so there would be someone to look at and someone to react to. So it was a mix of both, but they could be finished a lot of it in CG because it was at the end of the day it was a suit. And so you'll have folds and you need that, you'll have joints, you'll see and all of that. So all of that finished up in CG and touched up and all of those things. So I think it was a mix of both, but I find it amazing that when it was not there, it's very challenging for them to kind of actually be able to react to something just based on what we are saying, right? That's amazing. And
so, but what is scarier, the mutants that you guys are imagining, or the mutants that you actually have to fight in the sets? What is scarier?
No, the scarier part is to imagine it right. Because imagine the director is telling us this is how it looks, and even if I tell you it's got blue eyes, it's got brown skin, it's got a certain color of blood, I'd still might not imagine the exact same thing. So the really challenging part for us as actors is to sort of get to the director's vision, is to see it as what the director sees, because I feel like as actors that's our only duty, to see what the director sees and to bring it as closer possible to his imagination. That's the hard part. With reference to the scary part, even I don't watch horror movies because I'm a little scared of it.
Then why do you guys do the movies then?
Because we know it's the ghost is not really there. We know it's all practical effects, and
it's just facing your fears.
I wouldn't say facing your fears, but it's more like, okay, this is reassurance that this doesn't exist, but people just sort of do practical effects to scare you. So that is like a sort of comforting thing. That's why I think we do this.
And when you dub, you're not really scared because you've already seen all the work that.
Because we know no ghost exists, no. We know it's all actors, like, pretending to be ghosts and trying to scare us.
Yeah.
So that sort of like relieves you more than scare you in any way.
Yeah. முதல் நாள் ஷூட்டிங்ல வந்து gigantic figure in prosthetic suit came அப்படின்னு பார்த்தாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் few days later வாப்பா கூப்பிடுப்பா and sitting there, so it became like that, no, for the actors. After some time, whatever it is, you get used to seeing these characters on set and everything, so it just takes away from that fear, I guess.
So, Milind, I was just listening to a podcast about this guy who was trying to get a series made in Hindi, and what he mentioned is, of course, you go with an amazing draft for the first season, but the entire business works in such a way that you have to also be prepared for a reasonably detailed pitch for the second season also, because that's where the real success of a show lies, right? So, did you also have to approach Village where, of course, you have a first season ready, but then you have to also be prepared for a second season. You have to really work on that, because that's where the real highlight of the series is going to be. Does it work like that, first of all?
It does work like that.
Oh, okay.
It does work like that. No, see, I'll tell you, because the setup is what the first season is all about. And then the excitement is once you got people into that world, and then now they want more. They want to see that world expand. And I think that's how I had to approach it. And the Village, I mean, the show has so much of possibilities because of the world we are creating, that we can take the story in all those different exciting directions. And we've left it on a cliffhanger with Arya sir on a sort of cliffhanger which leads to the kind of
second season,
definite possibility of a second season and all of those things. So it was that way intended from the first place, because when you're taking so much of effort to mount a world like this, it just makes sense to be able to expand it into multiple seasons, and which is what they do generally in the West very, very easily and all of that. And I think this lends itself to that. So you want to see more of this world, you want to see more of these characters, you want to see more of these creatures that we are creating and all of that. So that's how we approached it, and I'm very happy to say that they saw that potential. Amazon saw the potential of this multiple seasons that this world could happen, and that's how it all fell into place. So, yeah.
Okay, my last question, I want all of you to answer this. Let's imagine you guys get an unlimited amount of budget and power to get a film or a series made. Which comic book or which fictional character would you guys just jump on and get that thing made?
I'll let George sir answer that first.
So can you just tell him?
இல்ல நீங்க வந்து எந்த பட்ஜெட் பெரிய பட்ஜெட் இருந்தாலும் நீங்க வந்து சின்ன வயசுல படிச்ச இல்லைன்னா எப்போவாது படிச்ச ஒரு காமிக் புக் அந்த மாதிரி தமிழ்ல ஏதாவது ஒரு கேரக்டர் இது ஒரு படமா ஆக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா எந்த காமிக் புக் கேரக்டர் சொல்வீங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்குறாரு.
நான் சின்ன பிள்ளையில் படிச்சிருக்கேன் அந்த முத்து காமிக்ஸில் மாயாவி மஞ்சள் பூக்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு படம் போட்டு அப்படியே நான் அந்த வயசுலலாம் படம் எடுக்கிறது அதெல்லாம் நமக்கு தெரியாது. சும்மா சின்ன பிள்ளையில் அது இன்ட்ரெஸ்டாக இருக்கும். அது படித்தது தான். அதான் அப்போல்லாம் வந்து எந்த கதை எடுத்தால் நல்லாயிருக்கும் அந்த இதெல்லாம் இல்லை. அது இப்போ தான் இருக்கும். இப்போ படித்தா அது நம்ம கேரக்டர் பண்ணலாமா என்ன இப்போ தோணும். அப்போ நான் சின்ன பிள்ளையில படித்தது தான்.
ஸோ all of these other things are already being done, no? Like all the DC and Marvel and all of that.
Indian.
இல்ல அதான் நான் சொல்றேன். So I'm saying I want to explore something that we've grown up in. Like he said, Chandamama, Tinkle, and Indrajal, and all of these things that were part of. I've read all of those growing up. Apart from these things,
Champak,
Champak, and the Stargate, and all of these things. Lot of comics that I've read as I've grown up. So I can't pick one, but I think this will hopefully open. There's a very lot of underground buzz in the Indian comic community.
The graphic novel community.
On social media, they're like so happy and proud that this is happening, and they're all very excited. I'm saying so, and I'm just happy that I hope that this would be the thing that would open those floodgates to get, because there's so much of stuff like we have grown up reading. Why can't we just do that? And I think everybody will have this that they want to see it and have fun. So can't pick one, but
closest is what can you say? You can't say Sipandi because I think he's going to say Sipandi. That you can't say.
Yeah, so for me it was the Indrajal comics,
Oh, awesome,
but of course like Phantom and all of that, Mandrake was created in the West. Bahadur and all that was
that character,
really Bahadur, and you know all that Bela, he has this thing, you know, all of that was very fun stuff and very unique to kind of. I used to enjoy. I used to subscribe to it and read those. I used to get it every week. I used to get the Indrajal comics and all of those things. So that's a character I think that would be something very exciting to adapt, because it's a very, very homegrown Indian hero kind of. Bahadur is like that kind of a character. So that's something I would choose, I guess.
Sir?
I think probably like a Shaktiman. Or you know, maybe Hanuman. I mean, they're making Hanuman already.
Shaktiman also, I think they're making.
So I think this kind of things should, you know, Indianize, and when they come with big directors directed, big production house produced it, then it will have that kind of reach and, you know, big actor accent. So I think you can definitely make it as a like a what do you say, like
franchise series,
and people can take after it. So I think it is possible. I think somebody has to make that effort to start.
You can do it, sir.
Sir, producing. So yeah, somebody produces, then probably I will.
Done, sir. Sir, you?
our character வந்து சூப்பர் ஹீரோ நினைப்பாரு.
சின்ன வயசுல படிச்ச காமிக் புக் ஏதாவது
மறந்துருச்சு.
சார் ஏதாவது வந்து சார்
இல்லை மறந்துருச்சு. நான் வந்து இது தந்தியில் வரும் இல்லையா, தந்தி பப்பில் அந்த சிந்துபாத்து, கன்னித்தீவு இந்த மாதிரி படித்தது தான் இருக்குது. அந்த காமிக்ஸ்லாம் மறந்துருச்சு எனக்கு. ஸோ இதில் கருணாகம் அந்த கேரக்டர் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அது இஸ் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான ஒரு கேரக்டர். அது 24th வில் வாட்ச்.
Arjun?
I was going to say Shaktiman, but since he already
that's
said
an
it,
easy. That's an
yeah,
easy,
like of course, because I grew up. I'm a 90s kid, and I grew up watching Shaktiman on TV, and I'm still wondering. நம்ம இங்க இருக்கிற ஒரே சூப்பர் ஹீரோ ப்ராப்பரா அதுதான், அது ஏன் இன்னும் யாரும் எதுவும் பண்ணவே இல்லை அப்படின்ற ஒரு பெரிய கேள்வி எனக்கு இருக்கு. பட் அதை தாண்டி வேதாளம் சொல்லும் கதைகள், இந்த விக்ரமாதித்யா அண்ட் வேதாள், லைக் ஃபார் மீ வேதாளம் இஸ் லைக் அ கோலம் பேசிக்கலி. ஸோ ஐ ஃபீல் லைக் தட்ஸ் அ ஹோல் வேர்ல்ட் ஐட் லைக் டு எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர். ஸோ தட் would be my answer. And also I'd want to do the Indian Spider-Man.
What's his name?
Pavitra
Prabhakar.
Yeah, that's another amazing like extension. Like that is inclusion on another level. Like I'm so glad Marvel and DC are taking note that, you know, there's this one particular culture which is giving into this super culture, and we should sort of create one character because then there's more emotional investment. So Pavitra Prabhakar it is.
Okay, that's it. Thanks guys, thanks so much for this interview. I'm looking forward to watching The Village, and maybe we'll sit and talk again after the show.
Definitely.
Thanks guys.
Lovely, man. Thank you.